Danny Motor is Julia Roberts' husband, by the way. And she came down there with her kids to visit, and I took her kids out fishing one day. Little kids, they're twins. And so she asked me to take them fishing. I said, well, you have to go too, because I'm not going to deal with two 4-year-olds. Oh, this is on the up and up. So I took these little kids down, and I put one on my shoulders. I climbed down this cliff. I crossed the river with the boy, and I hooked a fish, gave him the rod. He pulls the fish in. I said, what do you want to do with this fish? He says, I want to eat it. I said, okay, well, we have to kill it. So we killed it, and his sister up on the bank was yelling, I want to catch a fish too. So I go all the way back, I take her down, do the same thing, and we took the fish back, we cooked them, they ate them, and I told them, well, this is your first lesson in fishing, and it's a little Zen lesson, because sometimes when you catch your first fish, the fish catches you. I said, and tomorrow we're going to get into existentialism. I'll tell you one more story about Makohe. She was the most natural human being I've ever met in my life. Her mother lives very sustainably. That was her fishing off the rocks. And she fishes every day off the rocks, catches fish, and sells them. Her brother goes out and spear fishes, and he has a Portuguese water dog that follows him carrying the goodie bag. And Makohe, when she was a young girl in school in Rapa Nui, all the books were black and white. And she thought that the world outside of Rapa Nui was only black and white. And, but when I say she's absolutely natural, she has no guiles about her. Whatever comes into her head, she says. So one day we're driving along endlessly on these back roads, and Jeff and I and her, and everybody's bored to death, and she just looks over at me and goes like that, and she says, how long has it been since you lost your muscles? A lot of people think things like that, but they don't say it.
Will it take climbing Corcovado to get the girl in the end?
Well, that film will be made after we're long gone.
What time of month were you on the mountain?
Well, we were, you know, it was a tough call to figure out the timing for this, because you wanted to be there as early in the season as we could get to have ice and snow on the mountain. But then we also knew that if we were there in the middle of early in the summer, then the surf wouldn't be that good, because the big storms, you know, come from the winter down south by Antarctica. So we didn't know what to do. And then the whole thing was driven by the boat at the end of the day anyway, because we developed this one schedule, and that didn't work because it got dismasted. And there we were in Rapa Nui for a month trying to fix that mast. And it did. It took us a whole month of working on that thing. It was a huge job and a scary one. You know, we just pulled a number out of the air and said, oh, the thing weighed over 500 pounds. I actually was sitting there just now thinking, God, that thing had to be 700 or 800 pounds anyway. It was so heavy. And, you know, it was about 20 feet off the deck, and we're out on the roadstead there, boats rolling around. And it was not an overstatement to say if that thing came down, it would have took somebody out. So it was we were pretty thrilled when we got that thing re-stepped. That was not any sort of cinematic, you know, legerdemain at all.
One more question.
this be a model for some kind of a foreign policy? Let's say for the Amazon, other areas with environmental concerns?
You mean the film?
No, this philosophy of going into Chile, Argentina, going into other countries that
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
become concerned about
In-
their environments.
Doug and Chris, or Doug did, he published a book last year, which we could really recommend to you, called Wildlands Philanthropy. And it's a book about how other people have taken private philanthropy to create protected areas and made those areas happen. And there's actually a long history of that in this country too, as some of you may know, with especially Grand Teton National Park and what the Rockefeller family did to create that park and gift it to the American people, which is very similar to what they're doing in South America. And there's an effort underway right now in Africa to do just exactly the same thing. So the book that they published is intended to increase awareness about this as a model and try to encourage other people to do just that all across the globe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.